Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome in or welcome back to Sweet EMohoTions, the YouTube video series where we are sending a manned mission to Moho. If you remember last time when we finished, this probe was very carefully and peacefully landed right next to the Moho hole that I both accidentally and on purpose landed next to. I wasn't quite sure if I was going to get next to it, but I did. So, success. Only now, when I loaded it up, I was being sucked into the Moho hole. So, here I am trying to get back out, and as you can see, it's not exactly working. So, I'm like, oh, save the science, trying to quickly read the temperature, which is what I really came there for originally. And the temperature values actually look pretty within reason to put Kerbal's there. So, even though he's gone, we got what we came for. So I think when we send men, we're gonna land right around this area right here, so they don't fall into the Moho hole. I think that might be a great idea. And also, the Kerbal scientists know a little bit more about where they want to land, because they have deemed that the Moho hole is important. They're not even sure if it's a natural formation. Bum, bum, bum. So, I am sending up, this is a fuel tanker, and at first, when I started out, it was pretty much falling apart the entire time, which is really frustrating if you've ever played Kerbal Space Program, as you probably have if you're watching this video. You know that it can be a little frustrating, as well as funny, when all those things are falling apart. So we're sending this up to rendezvous and refuel a couple of ships that I've already sent up. Tried to record them, and for some reason, Fraps did not record them. So they are in space. They are my Moho Lander and my crew transfer vehicle. I decided to do it in two separate ships because the Moho Lander only needs to go there. It doesn't need to come back. So it was just a little bit easier on my brain as far as math and as far as constructing ships goes. But the only way that I could get those two ships into orbit was to essentially use the fuel from their tanks as the initial fuel for the surface to orbit rocket. So they're pretty much empty at this point. This right here, this is our Moho Lander. Pretty basic transfer stage, 3 orange tanks, and those should get us about 9,000 Delta V, if you remember. And it's pretty much about what we need in order to get into Moho. This guy is currently docking with our tanker, which somebody forgot to put RCS on, so we're docking this huge whale of a ship with the tanker now. And so this is going to be the ship that goes to Moho, and it's complete with 4 little probes that we can chuck into the Moho hole. So that'll be pretty fun. It'll be a little bit more fun than the last probe we chucked in the Moho hole, right? So here we are. We're just going to dock it, refuel it, and that one should be able to easily make it to Moho once we've refueled. So now that I've refueled everything, we're just going to deorbit our fuel tanker. That's what it's called, a fuel tanker, because it tanks fuel to our ship. I'm going to deorbit that, and then I'll switch right over to the other ship. I was planning on talking about it a little more, but I found a pretty thing that happened that I sort of wanted to show you. You'll see it in a second. Basically, what I'm doing right now is transferring the fuel to even it out so I can see how much delta V we're going to get in our burn, because the fuel tanker didn't quite fill everything back up. So here we are opening the delta V, and you know what? I'm looking at it, and it's close to 9,000 delta V, and I'm thinking I'm just going to go for it because, because I like to live on the edge. Oh my goodness, look at this. We have a sunset going on here, but it's a really unique sunset. It is a Eclipse Sunset, total eclipse of the sunset. That's right. All you music lovers out there might know what I'm talking about. So we're just looking at this thing a little bit. Yeah, I enjoy all of these pretty little things that happen in KSP. I'm not sure if you guys can hear this, but there is some thundering in the background. Right now, I live in the Pacific Northwest, and we are having some record rainfall, which I'm really happy about because unlike people in the rest of the world, I absolutely love the rain. Well, I don't know that people in the rest of the world hate rain either, but you know, some people, they don't like it up here. They're like, ew, Pacific Northwest, rain, gross. So here we are. Here's the second one. And I actually figured out, if I did this a little more efficiently, I could get up a little more fuel than I bargained for. So get a little bang for my buck. So here we are, docking with the transfer stage, the stage that it's already got our Kerbals in there, and it's going to be taking all of our Kerbals out to Moho. The transfer stage is, it's significantly less complicated, but it's bigger. It has 4 fuel tanks instead of just 3, and 2 of them actually decouple. Why is that? Well, that's because it needs to get all the way out to Moho and back with our guys, because they probably want to come home to their little Kerbal kitties. Kitties, not kitties. Children. That's what I'm saying. So we deorbit this thing after we're done, as we always do, because I have the KSP OCD. And we'll just bring this into the sunlight, and I'll show you a little bit more here. It's a standard. It's basically asparagus staged. And for fuel tanks, and I believe this gives us about 16,000 delta V if we have it completely fueled up, which is awesome. That should be enough to get us home. So once again, I'm balancing this out so I can check the delta V, and the delta V, oh look, it might be just enough to get us out and back. I'm not really sure. Maybe I'll gamble on it. Until next time, though, I'm Weber. You've been watching Sweet EMohoTions, and as always, stay entertained.